Like if we think about why a cohort in the first place, first and foremost, I'm not a huge fan of cohort the way that most people talk about cohorts, because no matter what, your best clients are going to want to move faster than the cohort, right? Like always, we still struggle with that, which is why, like, for example, Justin, who was here, this week is his week 4. Justin, Dan are both further along in the curriculum than the current cohort-based onboarding process, because we said, hey, like if you're completing these things, keep going, move ahead. But the calls that we're now having as a part of our onboarding experience are still structured around some of the foundational stuff. So the call might be a little bit more on something that they did, but they're also still ahead. Like Justin and Dan have basically shared their core offers already, and they're in weeks 3, 4. Whereas like we were talking about this the other day, like before we did it the way that we did it, sometimes people didn't submit their core offer until like 90 days. It's like, wow, people are submitting their core offer in week 3, which means they're going to be able to start selling way faster than other people were before. In some situations, also just allowing people, and again, expectation, and because we have the curriculum now, like move ahead. So as you have some stuff for them to move ahead in, they're going to do it. So it kind of already breaks some of the cohort stuff. The other reason like cohort is, I think, valuable in the stages that many of you guys started in is, one, if you're trying to add the group component where you're having a weekly call where you kind of consolidate questions versus all the back and forth one-on-one stuff that happens, having a designated time like a call like this where everyone shows up is valuable to me. It leverages my time, leverages your time. So like that's another reason like cohort is nice, but also the real reason is it gives you 2 elements of making offers that help accelerate sales, which is its natural urgency and its natural scarcity. And so like when many people are getting started, by them saying, hey, we're getting started on X date, really why that's valuable to you or to us in this situation is it gives you a little bit of time to go start talking about this thing with a deadline and hopefully a couple clients that are getting started. But as we've told many people, you could have one person in your cohort. I'd still start because you sold the thing. So I'm using it as a vehicle to just get you guys to start freaking selling and have a deadline and do something about it. And for those that want to have a group component, selling it as such automatically embeds that as a piece of the delivery. I'm letting the prospect know, hey, and we have this thing, this is a group experience. Now, that being said, there's literally zero reason why with your current one-on-one clients that are done with you that you can't go and say, hey guys, I have this new amazing thing that I'm going to be doing for you. It's completely optional, but here's why it's going to be valuable. I'm going to have an office hours every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. And so if you have questions about outside of these few things, this would be a great place to come. If you want to strategize, if you want me to review something, if you know, something that's maybe not urgent, but you're thinking about, this is a great place to come get those questions answered. And you start pre-framing and leading all questions that aren't urgent to one of those group calls. Do it with if you have one client, because if you have office hours and only one person shows up, great. You're still now managing it on your time. And then eventually a week or a couple weeks later, a month later, there might be 5 people on that call and then 10 people. There's really no reason why you can't offer it now and just be like, hey, I'm adding this thing as a bonus. I think it'd be really helpful. Sell why it would be beneficial. Hey, I don't want you to have all of this back and forth. So jot down your questions and come to office hours once a week and we'll jam on it and we'll get it solved for you. Show them why it's beneficial for them. Now we won't be going back and forth in email and now you're distracted from the stuff that you were trying to get done. Like you can put it on your calendar, you can show up, we can tackle the things. So just add it. Add it to the one-on-one clients, and eventually there'll be more than one client on it. I don't want to say cohort is entirely synonymous with the word group, but in many ways it kind of is. And again, the other benefit of a cohort or a group call, especially if you can get everybody started in that fashion, again, if we're moving to that, it's not like the end of the world because it'll eventually happen anyway. But like you guys see, like when we threw you guys in a room in July, like there was a lot of really good connection. Right? Community is really powerful. And some of you guys are going to want to lean into community more than others. And community also helps make your life easier on the delivery side because you'll have other people that can help support your clients. And oftentimes that support, and this will hurt your ego, but like Rolando, if you teach someone something that you learned from me about the core offer and you help Toby, right? It'll land way better from you than it will from me, period. almost every single time. And so like, if we can have other people, not all agency people, saying, hey, this works, here's why, here's how I did this, it only cements the stuff that you're doing into their brains more, because having other people, like, it starts validating a lot of things, and you actually will believe in it a whole lot more when you hear it from someone that's not me and not Lisa. And so that'll happen for you guys too. Like, I remember Chris Bayless, and he still says it. He's like, I showed up to a group coaching call, and this was like 8 months into doing it. And he's like, the clients literally said, we almost don't even need you on this call. The calls are still valuable. Like, we'd still come because his coaching team was there and the community was like there. That's, I think, really powerful. So that's another reason why you want to start getting to it. But if it starts off with one person in the room and then eventually there's two and eventually there's three, like, I think that's fine too. And again, how we're doing it right now, we went away from that for a minute and now we're back to it. And like, it just gets everybody kind of moving together. There's that element of it that is helpful. But again, right now we're onboarding and doing an intake every other week. And I think tomorrow is an intake, and I think there's only one person on it. It could be one or two people on the intake, but like, they're not going to complain that it's a one-on-one, right? But again, it's still in your favor because it's on your calendar, on your schedule, on your time frame. It's not you responding to them. It's, hey, this is how we start. This is when, this is how it works. And they're playing by your rules.